Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, where today we are back in our TBM-930. It's been a minute since we've given this girl any action and I have missed her. Plus it's important to stay sharp. I'm also going to be working on updating the tutorial guide this week for it. If you guys haven't seen that guide, check out the links in the description below. $10 or more to PayPal or tier 2 or above on Patreon. And you can download my TBM-930 guide. If you do the PayPal donation, I do recommend that you shoot me an email at overkillsimulations@gmail.com and let me know which guide you are looking for, as I have more than one. I do recommend, though, to people to use the Patreon subscription, as it gives you access to my A320 guide, my TBM-930 guide, which doubles up as a G3000 guide, and you can download my G1000 guide independently. The TBM-930 guide is a full tutorial guide from Salt Lake City, Utah, where we are here, going down to Denver, Colorado. It is everything from cold and dark startup to cold and dark shutdown in Denver. The only thing you need is the guide itself. All flight planning information is in there, as well as a full cockpit tour. So if that's something you guys are interested in, you're wondering how to fly the TBM-930, I recommend that guide. It will be updated this weekend with RNAV approaches as well as VOR flying. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the cockpit and get her started up for today's flight. Now, in today's flight, we are going to be repeating the Salt Lake City to Denver, Colorado flight, and we're going to be using the RNAV approach. So, let's get her started up. Now, it's been a while, so let's see if I remember any of my controls here. Alright, so ignition, we want that left in the auto position for now. Auxiliary boost pumps are off. Fuel selector set to manual. Autopilot systems are off. Oxygen master switch is off as well. We are good to go there. So let's do crash bar up, battery on, generator set to main. And we're going to go straight into turning on our nav lights and our pulse lights. Auxiliary boost pumps, we're going to set those to on for now, and we can leave the ignition in the auto position. And from here, we're going to come down and go to our starter and go into the on position. And actually, you know what, before I do that, let's double check some things here. Let's try to keep it thorough. I was going to skip some steps, I'm being honest here. Alright, so coming down, we want to make sure our air conditioning system is set to off. Our hot airflow is set to the floor on startup. Bleed switches are turned off. All pitot and inertial separators are off. Landing gear is down and secure. Parking brake is on and secure. Fuel tank set to left. Throttle is down in the cutoff position. Flaps are secured as well. Go ahead and bring up the G3000. Clear our master caution so that stops dinging in our ear. And now we can come upstairs again, and we're going to hit our starter to the on position for a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and let's go down and monitor our performance. There we go, that's a better view. All right, we're looking for 13% on the NG. There it is. We're going to go into low idle. Let's get that door closed. It's going to get pretty loud in here. Now we're looking for 53% on the NG, and we'll move it into the taxi idle, flight idle. All right, there it is. Short and sweet, easy process here. Clear the master caution, let her continue to idle up. So some weird throttle behaviors ever since the last update. When you go from the menu back in, this on the TBM-930, it pushed my throttle forward instead of reducing it. All right, so our systems are on. Let's come back up to the overhead panel for a second here. Ignition remains in the auto position. We can do our oxygen switch, master switch to the on position. A lot of pushback on this, guys. It is in the pilot's operational handbook for the TBM-930 from DARE, or DAHER, however you want to say it. So it is in the real world pilot operating handbook that this needs to be on at engine start. Okay, a lot of people say don't turn on until 10,000 feet. I know that Stevo Knievo doesn't turn on 10,000 feet. I'm just going by the handbook. Okay, auxiliary boost pumps, we're going to move that to the auto position, fuel selection to auto, and the autopilot trims to on. Okay, from here, we can go ahead and turn our taxi light on if we want, but we're not quite ready yet, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it off for now, and I'll catch it before we roll out of here. All right, let's step on back downstairs for a second. Trying to remember what all my keyboard commands are, so bear with me. Nope. Cool view, though. All right, so coming back to our environmental controls, we can turn the air conditioner back on. Pitot, heaters, and inertial separator. We'll wait for taxi. Parking brake still secure. Landing gear still down. Pressurization, we're going to set this to either max diff or auto. Auto is going to be more comfortable for your passengers. Max diff is going to be the fastest way. All right. So, everything else is secure and ready to roll. We got plenty of fuel on board, so now it's a matter of entering in the flight plan. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so before entering our flight plan, we obviously need to make sure we do have enough fuel. I couldn't remember if I did it or not, and it looks like I have not. This is my second restart of this, so we have to double check ourselves, right? All right, so we're looking at 481 gallons in the left tank, 487 in the right tank, and we need 406 for today's flight. So I'm going to bring that down to, let's see here, 47, 45. Let's do, come on. There we go, 42. Meet it in the middle. All right, so there's our fuel in the aircraft. Normally, yes, we would have that done before engine start. I honestly couldn't remember if I had done it or not, and I turned out to be wrong. Whoa, and I was looking at the wrong number. That would have been so bad. We need 900 gallons for this flight. So almost a full party here. There we go. That should be plenty. That would have been bad. All right, and now let's get into entering the flight plan itself. So first thing we need to do is go into MFD. And we're going to go to flight plan and first enter in our our originating airport. So Kilo Sierra Lima Charlie for Salt Lake City. We're going to add our destination of KDEN for Denver, Colorado. Press enter. Now we're going to add our en route waypoints. So this is everything in between your SID and your star. So really it looks like we're just using the camper. So that's going to be Kilo, and I always type in the wrong one. There's two of them, so you got to be careful. Don't spell it out correctly, otherwise it comes out wrong. So let's see here, Kilo Alpha Mike Papa Romeo, and I would love to be able to show you guys this. This is in the guide. I'm pulling this all directly from my guide. I did not use SimBrief today. I'm just taking it direct from the guide. NVIDIA, with their latest video drivers, they broke shadow play, which I use very heavily because I find it gives me the best performance on the recordings. They look the nicest. They have the least amount of issues. And then it seems like every other driver update, they break what's called desktop sharing, which allows me to also not only share the simulator, but shares the applications as well. And it seems like in the latest drivers, they broke it yet again. It's about every other driver update. I have this problem where I can no longer share the desktop applications. What happens is when I disengage it, it records one of my other monitors. So it's a mess. I'm sure you guys didn't need to hear that, but still. I needed to vent to someone. Okay, you guys are my counselors. All right, and let's see here. So we have our en route. All right, so we're just going to hit done here. That's the only waypoint in between the two locations that we have to be concerned with. And so next what we're going to be doing is we're going to move back to the MFD and we're going to go to procedures. We're going to go to departures. We're using, obviously, Salt Lake City. And the departure here, we're going to find, let's see here. We're using the rugged one. There it is. And the transition is purty. It's quite purty. And our runway today we're looking for is 34 right. So there's that. We hit load, and you can see all these other sequences that are included. So now our flight plan is increasing. All right, so choosing arrival. We are going to be using the long Z1, and we need the camper transition, as that is our last waypoint before we enter the star. So now we're going to hit load. We got runway 34 left. That's correct. And now checking on to the approach. We need to find our, and today we're going to be looking for RNAV. Come on. And we can use the Zulu. And the transition we are going to be using today. So it's going to bring us down. I don't know if you guys can see it. Actually, I know you can't see it, but I'm looking at Navigraph, looking at the approach plate for 3-4 left. Looking at the Zulu approach. And Kaler is our transition. Good. All right, so we're just going to hit load from here. We're not going to hit load and activate yet. We obviously don't want to activate that until we're close. So there is our flight plan entered. We're all good there. Now what we can do is come down to our speed bugs. We want our rotation speed set. Approach speed set. And let's see here. We're going to be using best speed today. Got that all squared away. And I think we are ready to get this beautiful bird taxied and out of here. So before we start our taxi, let's make sure all the doors are locked. I'll check that one in the back. Sometimes it can come back here and it's unlocked. I think red is for lock, right? I can't remember. Okay, green is for lock. Good. Good. All right, come back up front. We got green on the door here. And, hello. Let's turn these guys off. I love this mod. Link down in the description below for the mod, guys, if you're interested. Makes it a lot more fun to fly. All right, so now we're definitely going to turn the initial separator on before taxi. Not worried about any de-icing at the moment. Let's come up top. Turn that taxi light on. Do one quick pass across the top. Make sure everything's configured correctly for flight before we get rolling. Make our lives a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and set our altitude today. We're going to take her up to 22,000 feet. Oop, went too high. We're going to be using a vertical speed initially. Of 2,000 feet per minute. And then as we climb out, we'll be reducing that. All right, pilots, let's get ready to get out of here. Mind the track IR for a second. Setting myself up for taxi here. Actually, you know what we'll do? We'll just use this guy. All right, so 3-4 right should be. Memory serves. Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up. Favorites. That's why I love Navigraph, man. If you guys don't have a subscription, you fly often, I highly recommend it. It's worth every penny of it. You won't regret it once you get familiar with it. It's really an amazing piece of software. Okay. All right, I know where we're going now. That's 3-4 right there. All right, so let's get out of here. All right, so we got the neutral separator on. I'm going to put my foot on the brake for a second. I think I'm set. I can't remember what we did. I stepped away to cook some dinner, making some tamales. I love tamales. I can eat them until I'm blue in the face. Absolutely blue in the face. Okay, flaps are still up. Good. Want to make sure our flaps stay up during taxi because the TBM is so low to the ground. The prop can kick debris back up and damage the flap surfaces. If I get some stuttering, guys, I'm real sorry. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I've checked everything I can think of. I've tried turning hardware accelerated GPU back on. I've made sure that I noticed that the hotfix once again turned on full screen optimization, as well as changed my DPI settings. So I've done everything I can think of. I've tuned the, I mean, as you can tell on the screens there, I set them down to the low refresh rate. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's just in this last update, I've got horrible stuttering, and I can't shake it, man. And I know some people are reporting that it's just smooth as glass, so I'm sure it's a setting that I'm missing. I just can't figure out which one that might be. Really looking forward to flying the TBM again. I haven't flown her in so long. So, with that being said, also, if we run into any weird bugs, behavior, things like that, we're not anticipating, we'll just, as always, do that pilot stuff that we do and address it as they come along. But the goal for today is a nice smooth RNAV approach into Denver. So hopefully the aviation gods allowing, we will have a nice flight that goes as planned. Let's set our initial altitude while we're in our taxi here. I always tend to taxi the TBM too fast. Should get away from me if you let it. I love how fast this aircraft is. We're just going to go straight up to the cruise altitude today. Just having a nice chill time. Not too worried about the restrictions and things like that for today. Just want to have a nice, good flight. So we're going to go all the way up here. Although I do need to set the altimeter. Give me a second and we'll work on that. Whoa! What happened? There we go. Alright, so there's our altitude. Altimeter out here. Give me a second, I need to look that up. KSLC METAR. See what we got for today. 3014 on the altimeter. Should have done that earlier. That was my fault. I wasn't actually planning on doing it, to be truthful. But I figure you can't skip all the procedures, otherwise that just takes the fun out of it, right? We're going to set our vertical speed, which we'd already done once, but let's set it to 2,000 feet to start out with. And then we'll bring it down. We'll use the flight level control. I hope you guys are all having a great week. I know it's only Tuesday, but say Monday sets the rhythm, right? Come on, pretty girl, turn for me. I need to find a nice way. Oh, you know what else I need to do? Set that to the FMS. Otherwise, we weren't going to have much of a flight plan there. I forgot what else I was going to say. Oh, I need to figure out a way to get my rudder pedals to stop sliding on the floor. The problem is, so I have the TPR rudder pedals and I have a carpet floor, about to be a hardwood floor next week, which I'm not looking forward to because of this reason. But I also switch between a sim pit or a sim flight pit and racing. I don't video my racing much anymore just because the community that I have doesn't seem to be too much interested in it. It's just I was in flight simulation for too long, so I'm worried that people dislike it more than anything. So Anyway, I switch back and forth so I can't like mount them. Alright, let's get that going. Oops. Sorry, I'm looking at a different screen is why I'm taxing like crap. I've heard it's good to pay attention when you're flying, but you know, do what you can, right? Alright, so here is 3-4, right? So we're going to hold short here. Sort of missed my landing line, or stop line there. Oh, come on, baby. Let's turn those landing lights on, turn that strobe light on, and other than that, we are good to get out of here. Let's get those pitot heats on, and we're good. So we're just going to roll and taxi here, or roll and take off. Let's extend that. Oh, no, we're going the wrong way. Let's get that back out to our... Oh, we need one more thing. Takeoff flaps. Alright, flaps good, everything good, pressure's good. Inertial separator. We're out of here. Takeoff power set. Looking for 90 knots. Nice, good roll. There's 90, rotating. Oh, beautiful girl. Beautiful. Alright, and I'm going to get the autopilot, and we're just going to rock the nav. Yaw damper, oh, that's cool. Autopilot, or yaw damper came on with the autopilot. Didn't used to. Alright, so we're climbing with vertical speed. Let's get those flaps up. Yep, I'm working on it. Give me a second. I don't have my Bravo and Alpha flight controls hooked up today. I'm sort of winging it here. We got nav mode turned on. FMS is set. Climbing out at 2,000 feet. And now let's change to flight level control. And we're looking for 121 knots. I'll take that. Actually, I think what we're looking for is 124 knots. Come on. There we go. Nice, good, strong climb out. Got clear skies. No worry about the initial separator, so we'll go ahead and shut it off. Have to watch our torque at this point. 7,000 feet, we're probably actually still in bird range, but not too worried about it, obviously for simulation purposes. If it was a real cloudy day, we would leave the inertial separator on until we cleared the cloud level. And that's just because of icing and things like that, any debris that might be hanging out inside the clouds. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you guys this real quick top of descent calculator I found. I'm always looking for new tools and things like that. You know, this is what I do during the cruises, is just sort of goof around looking for different things that might help the simulation experience. And I found this really neat top of descent calculator. This thing's pretty cool. So you put in your starting altitude, obviously, so this is our cruise altitude, 22,000 feet, and then your ending altitude, this is going to be the touchdown zone elevation. If you're looking at your approach charts, you can typically find it right here. This is where we can find out Navigraph. So 5327, so I just put it 5,300 feet. We're not worried about the 27 feet. Starting speed, I put my true airspeed. I didn't know if I should use airspeed or ground speed. That was the one that was sort of confusing for me, but at the moment, a cruise is only a 2-knot difference between the two, so I wasn't too concerned about it. Rounded it down to 290 knots. End speed, I set as my approach speed, 85 knots, and then gave a plus 2 knots for wind speed, as we have a 2-knot tailwind right now. Glide slope, obviously the 3-degree glide slope if that's what we're looking for, and then it gives you your vertical speed, feet per minute. So we're looking at descending at about 1,000 feet per minute today. Top of descent should be about 75 nautical miles before our touchdown zone, and estimated time to descend is about 24 minutes. So I thought this was pretty neat. It's one of the better ones that I've seen. The link will be down in the description below, so check that out, guys. This is pretty cool. Obviously with the A320 by fly-by-wire, you have tools that are built into it, but for some of your GA aircraft, things like that, I just felt this gave us a little bit more information than what we normally see. So thought you guys might enjoy that, and I'll see you guys when we reach our top of descent. So real quick, guys, because I know I actually lost the audio in the previous segment. I was going to do this a little bit differently, decided to change it up. So I'm just going to recap what happened. At 10,000 feet, obviously, we came up top to our overhead panel, turned the landing lights off and the taxi light off. 18,000 feet, switched our altimeter back to 29902, except for the standby, apparently. Okay. And other than that, there really wasn't much that you guys missed. We set our climb to the best rate of 124 knots, or best speed 124 knots. Took it off of the vertical speed mode. That way we didn't climb so high that the pressurization couldn't keep up. But other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot you guys missed, so I do apologize for that. As you can see here, we're looking for 75 nautical miles at about 80 nautical miles or so. I'm going to start our descent. We're keeping in mind that there's a turnaround here that we're going to have to take into consideration. So once the destination here is within about 65 nautical miles or so is when I'll actually start the descent. That way we make the turn and take that into consideration as we descend. Alright, so I will catch you guys after just a bit here. Alright, my pilot dudes and dudettes, we're coming in at about 65 miles or so inside the reach here, so let's start our descent. So, according to our little calculator, we're going to go for vertical speed mode. And we're going to come down at 1,000 feet per minute. Come on. Oh, I moved my mouse. And I'm going to start pulling some power off. And I just got to say that I just got done making my best ever yet batch of tamales. Oh my lord, they are good. Red beef, to answer your question, because I know someone's going to ask. Oh, they came out so good. So good. There is a YouTube video that I used today that gave me a couple of tips. I'll put a link to that in the description below in case you ever want to try making your own tamales. Good stuff. It's one thing I love about living in Tucson. I am as white as Casper. Okay, and I think I should have been born Mexican, because you guys, you know how to cook. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm Italian as my heritage, and I can do some Italian cooking. Let me tell you what. I mean, I will absolutely boast about that all day long. I can cook some Italian. But oh man, I love Mexican food. Love Mexican food. I could eat it 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. Just doesn't matter. Burritos, quesadillas, don't even get me started. Enchiladas, oh yes. Anybody hungry now? Comment down below if you had to get up and go get something to eat after this. Alright, while we're doing this, I'll figure out what the MEDAR information is for Denver. So we can set our altimeter when it's time. Let's see what we got. It looks like Denver is running at... Where's the altimeter? I'm seeing everything but. Let me try this one. There we go. 30.23 today on the altimeter. Temperature showing 0 even, 32 degrees. Mercy. Glad I live in Tucson. Dew point -9. Winds calm. Visibility 10 or more. So we're good there. Well, I am getting kind of bored with the sky. This is the nice thing about simulation, right? Let's at least put some clouds out. There we go. That'll work. Just a few, nothing crazy. Alright, let's see how we're doing down here. Nope, other way. I always rotate the wrong direction the first time. Every single time. Alright, so let's set this. What did we say? 3023. About time to get that ready to go. Go ahead and start setting it now. Alright. And as we are starting to come in through some cloud level, I'm going to go ahead and turn the inertial separator back on. Should get a master caution here indicating that it's on here in a minute. And then what we're going to do here for the approach is once we pass high mom, we're going to go ahead and come down and activate the approach mode. And we can actually just come back here and go from here. Go to your procedures menu from here. Okay, so click procedures and then activate approach. And we'll do that right as we clear high mom, and that will activate the approach phase. And there's our initial separator caution. You can notice the torque went down quite a bit, so we got to sort of pay attention to our airspeed, but we're still cruising just along fine. We'll add a little bit of power on. Alright, so that's pretty much it for where we're at right now at 10,000 feet. Landing lights will come back on. But I'll catch you guys when we get to high mom. Hi, Mom. Alright, welcome back, friends. So we are approaching high mom. I've actually arrested our descent. Oh, I thought I did. I was supposed to lock it down. But we are still very much so descending. There it goes. Weird. Okay, so now I've arrested our descent. As at Kaler, we're supposed to be at 10,000 feet. So we descended a bit faster than I was anticipating. We just came down faster than what I expected. I expected us to bleed off more speed than we did as we descended, and it just didn't happen. So that's okay. The good news is at high mom we were also expected to be at 10,000, so we're 1,000 feet below, but you know, I've done worse. So from here, once we get to high mom, we will activate the approach phase. So we're getting close. Also, I did have to turn on all of the de-icing systems as we are at 32 degrees out here. Which I feel like requires this. That's too much, huh? Is that too much? What do you guys think? I guess we'll be okay. It's very white. That's a very bright sky right now. Like, oh yeah, look at the scenery. Yeah, it's fantastic. Is it though? Kind of curious what landing was going to be like. I've never landed in snow. I'll have to see how it's modeled here. Because I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't think I have. Alright, so as we pass through High Mom here. What are we on here? .5 still. Look at that. Like, that is snow. Like, that's Die Hard right there. Interesting that it shows us passing it here, but we still got 3.5 here. Took away all the scenery doing that, didn't I? Whoops. Hope you guys like looking at the plane. It's a pretty plane. Okay, so there it is. So now I'm going to go ahead. Oh, it looks like it's activating already for us, but activate the approach phase. And now it will come around and set us up for Kaler. So I will catch you guys when we get there. As you can see, it's quite a hike, so no use in dragging you guys through that mud. Alright, so we're approaching Kaler, at which point we'll begin our descent again. Now, it's important to look at a couple distinctions between ILS and the RNAV. First off, RNAV uses GPS. So where with an ILS approach, you know, once we were coming around and actually starting the approach, we would be sure to switch over to the VOR. We'd go to our nav radios and make sure that we had the ILS frequency set in. But in this case, we don't have one. Okay, with the RNAV approaches, you don't have to worry about any radio tuning or changing to the VORs, etc. Okay, because it's using strictly GPS to guide you down to the runway. Now, what is important to remember is that I know there's some caveats to this, but as a whole, RNAV does not supply vertical guidance. So you need to make sure that you're watching your altitude as you come in on your approach, okay, and make sure that you're following your approach plates. Okay, unfortunately, I can't really show you guys the approach plate. I'll try to put a screenshot in, hopefully at about now. And, you know, that way you guys can see what we're doing here. All right, but I'm sort of just going to work my way down. We're going to start pulling the power off here and start setting up for our approach as we're getting in closer. Let me see where we're at 10 miles. Yeah, so we're about there. So now's where I'm going to start setting in our descent again. I'm going to go ahead and go into the approach mode. Vertical speed, and I'm going to start our descent. I'm going to start pulling the power way off. And I'm going to continue 1,000 feet per minute, 10 miles. Should be a 3-degree glide slope. We are turning and burning here. I have to wait till we get below 170 knots, and then I can drop some flaps here. We're going to set our altitude all the way down. Do 5,300 feet, get back on the glide slope. Ish. We're still a little fast, but I've pulled the power off as far as I can, so we're going to drop some flaps here. A little fast. But this should help arrest our speed a bit, because we are cooking. Did I turn our lights back on? With all the chaos, I kind of forgot. Everything else looks good. Looks like we're going to get a bouncy ride here a little bit. Yeah, I actually am going to drop the landing gear. That'll help slow us down a bit too. 140 knots. Let's go landing flaps. Lock our heading in case we need it. Start adding some power, get onto our approach speed. Looking for 85 knots in the box. I'm pulling our descent rate up to try to get on that 3-degree line. Sometimes it's nice that the TBM doesn't have an auto throttle. Turn some heat on over here. Get the fan speed up. It's cold. Alright, runway is going to be a little tough to see here. Use the MFD to sort of keep track. That's disturbing because I don't see it. We're descending too fast. So I'm pulling that way up for a minute. Looks like we got way ahead. So that was my fault. I'm just going to arrest that descent now. Accelerate. Wow. That's actually a challenge. It's a whole different ballgame when you can't see it. I get so used to either the lights or... So there's something not to do, guys. And looking at my approach chart, I got way ahead. I'm about 500 feet below where I should be. At Tuggle, I should be at about 5,800 feet, so... Oh, I thought that was arrested. There we go. Alright, so now... Start pulling that back down. I feel like 5,800 feet, it just isn't right, but 5,874 is where we're supposed to be at according to the approach plate. That can't be right. Either that or the altimeter's wrong. I have live weather turned on, but we all know how that goes sometimes. I'm going to bring us up a little bit. That didn't work out the way I'd hoped. You know what? I'm looking at the wrong dang thing. Crap. That was my fault. I was supposed to be at like 7,600 feet. By winter, I'm supposed to be at 7,000. Aw, man. That was my fault, guys. Looking at the wrong thing. So I'm going to add some power here. Try to get some of that back. Alright, from here we'll just hold it. I'm gonna bring the flaps up one notch for a minute. Yeah, I'm not sure what I was looking at there. So on the approach plate it says toggle, and it says 5874. But I think, no, that's not the touchdown altitude. Oh, you know what it is? It's covered by the star indicating the waypoint. So the waypoint icon is covering what looks like a power line icon. So that's what it's telling me. That's at 5,874 feet, but the actual waypoint location, I should be on 353 heading at 7,000. So, darn it. Alright, the good news is we should now be basically back on the descent, so I'm going to start bringing this down again. And I'm going to pull those flaps back down to landing. Come on. The little lessons we learn, huh? And hey, look, now I can see a runway. It's amazing how that works. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot, take her from here, yaw damper off for landing. Wow, it's going to be a rough ride in. Come on, baby, settle down. Oof, it's going away. Runway's going away. Alright, for those of you just joining in for the landing, we are fully configured. We're on the final approach, as you can see the runway in front of us. Trying to maintain 85 knots. Getting bounced around quite a bit here. Just weird because it only shows 4 knots of wind, but whatever. God, look at this airport, it's just like a blanket of snow. Flaps up for taxi. Alright, so hopefully you guys learned a couple things of what not to do there. Pay closer attention to your approach plates than I did, because clearly I looked at the wrong dang number, and that could have cost me dearly in real world. Descended a little fast. Again, wasn't quite monitoring the airspeed. These are things that definitely got to pay attention to as you're making these approaches. So, again, fault of mine. Let's take off the strobe light. Taxi light. Alright, and from here I'll just be taxiing over to parking and calling it a night. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help me a lot. Leave any questions or comments down below. I do my best to read them all. I learned just as much from you guys as hopefully you guys learned from me. And at the very least, hopefully you found this entertaining. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay safe, stay healthy as always, and I'll see you in the next one.